All right. Hi guys, my name is Kamal. Welcome to the fifth session in which we are going to cover about the remaining data types, that is dictionaries, tuples and set. So basically we have covered in detail about the strings and about the list, and in this session we will cover about three more in one video, that is dictionary, tuple and set. All right. So first of all, what we will do, we will open our Jupyter notebook. You will click over there. Then once you click over there, this window will open. Let's say again, we will create our folder. Let's go to desktop and in any particular folder, let's say again in the training folder. So this is my desktop. In the training folder, I will create my script. So I will go back, training folder. Let's create the blank notebook over here. So we will cover about dictionaries, set and tuples. So let's create the heading dictionaries. All right, press M, shift enter. So basically see, under list we see sequences in Python, and now under dictionaries we will see about mappings in Python. Okay, so what just I said I will show you, then it will make sense. First of all, when we create any kind of string, what we use, double quote, single quote or triple quote. When we create any type of list, we use brackets. We call it square bracket or large brackets, right? In case of dictionary, we will use curly brackets. Okay, in this curly bracket we will give the key and then we'll assign the value to it. That is what I mean by mapping, that in case of this dictionary data type, we will assign the, we will talk about the mappings, how we can do that. So let's take a look now. Let's say I create a dict sample. I create the variable by the name dict sample as a dictionary. So as I said, I have to pass the key, let's say key 1, then I have to pass its value, let's say value 1. Okay, comma, then again key 2, then colon value 2. So if I trigger this, don't worry if you are not able to understand, this is just the syntax, then I will show you the examples, then it will make much more sense. How to check the data type of any particular parameter, just type then in bracket the name of the parameter dict sample, and you can see that it is a dictionary object. So now let's take some real life examples. Let's say I create a dict policy. Let's say I create a variable named as policy details. Okay, and so let's say I have a product, that is my key. I have a product, let's say variable annuity, just a normal example, you can take any example, and the term of my policy is let's say 40 years, and the premium is, okay, let's say premium will be 100 1 2 3 4 5. All right, 5 zeros, 1 lakh, pretty simple. Okay, so you can check the type, that is policy details dictionary. Now let's take a look that how using the key you can find the value. Always remember, like in case of dictionary, there is no concept of indexing and slicing. Why do we use indexing and slicing? So that we can call out a specific value from that answer. You can do that same thing over here, but you can do that using the keys that is available to you. For example, I will type policy details. Okay, now I will start the square bracket. Now within that I will type the my key name. So let's say I want to find the term, so I will type term over there, and you can see. So using the key you can get the value. So this is the syntax of a dictionary, in which you will pass the key, then colon, then you will pass its value. Now it does not mean that it has to be only a string, it can be numerical values as well, that you can see over there, that this is my key, that is term, the value is numerical. You can do float values as well, right? So that is what I did over there. Let's take one more example, policy details, and what is the name of my product, that is variable annuity. Pretty simple, right? Now within the dictionary you can pass even a list as well. So let's take one example. Let's say now I create one more variable named as dict policy 1. Okay, any variable that you want to create. So now within that I will create my curly brackets. Okay, so the name of product is, again now you see over here double quote and I am using single quote. It is completely fine. I covered this in my I think second session, that in case of a string you can use single quote, double quote, triple quote. Which one is useful in what case, that we have covered already. So product is my key, and let's say value is again, let's say term insurance. Okay, I have a product by the name term insurance, that is term insurance. And the term, or I will use the word tenure, let's say same thing, tenure is, so now if I type 40 over there, so it is now that the product is term insurance and the term of the policy is 40 years. But let's say now I am creating a type of product where the tenure can be flexible. So for example, it can be 40, 50, 60, 70, like let's say 20, 30, 40 in case of term insurance. So I will pass it as a list. I will type, let's say 20, 30, 40, 50 and trigger this. So what I'm trying to do in this example is that not only you can pass string, not only you can pass the integer or float, you can also pass as a list as well. So for example, now if I dict policy 1, now if I check the value of tenure, okay, this is my key. I am passing my key to find my values of that particular key. The answer is 20, 30, 40, 50. Pretty simple. Okay, this is my key. This is their corresponding value. Then comma. So this is 1. Then this is my key. This is their corresponding values. Okay, you can put comma and add one more thing. Let's say name of person and colon. The number value can be, let's say, Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D. Pretty simple. So let's say edit policy and I will pass it as name. You can see ABCD. All right. So that is what I am trying to teach you right now. So now, not only that, now from here, you can see that it has now become a list, right? Now this is a list. So it means, let's say if someone asks me, how can I get this B as my answer? Pretty simple, just use the indexing of the list method, because now it becomes a list over here as an output. I can see that. So I will pass it on. Let's say I will type 2. So what will I get as answer? 0, 1, 2. I will get my answer as C. Pretty simple. Same case with tenure. I will pass tenure, let's say, and I want to find the last value. Or I will type -1. You can get your answer. Either type -1 or you can just type 0, 1, 2, 3. You can type 3 as well over there. You get your same answer. Pretty simple concept, right? Not only that, you can add values within that as well. So let's say, let's create something. So let's say I will type dict policy 1. I'm creating variable again, just overwriting it. Same thing. The product is term insurance. Okay. Tenure is, it can be, let's say 20, 25, 30, 35. Pretty simple up to this point, right? And let's trigger this. So this is my dict policy for now, right? I can add more values to it as well. So let's say now I will create one more key within this. Instead of going over there and overwrite it, I can overwrite it from the next step as well. So let's say dict policy. Instead of passing the existing keys, pass any new key that you want to create. Let's say I want to create a key by the name premium. Okay, premium. Pretty simple. Okay, now I can pass the values. Let's say I will pass value as 10,000. Okay, so now if I check my dict policy, you can see key value, key values, key is premium and the value is 10,000. Obviously you can pass it as, let's say, as a list as well. So for example, if I create one more, let's say now I will create name, and I can pass it as a list as well, where I will type A, X, Y, Z. So now if I check my dict policy, you can see this is my key corresponding values. key corresponding values, key corresponding key corresponding values. I think now it does look much more aesthetic rather than this. It happens because it cannot come in just one single line, because we have a lot of keys and values now. But now it is pretty much clear. This is my key corresponding values, key values, key values, key values. So you see how you can create the addition. In case of list, we learned about the concept of append and extend. Now over here, if you want to add, you can do that using this method, using this concept that is available. Now let's say you want to create a dictionary from scratch, because like over here when I created my dictionary, you see I passed the values, everything. Now I want to create the blank dictionary. How to do that? Let's say I'm creating a variable named as this, and I am not going to pass any key or any value. Pretty simple. I can check dict2. This is a dictionary. Now I can keep on adding it. Let's say dict2, and within that, let's say I will type a key name that I want to create. Let's say company, and within the company I will type, let's say, ABC. This is the name of my company. So now if I check the values of dict2, you can see this ABC is a key, and this, oh sorry, this is a key which is company, and this is the value which is ABC, which has been passed into a list. Pretty simple answer. Okay, let's say now I want to add one more thing, dict2 number of employees. Okay, and the answer is, let's say, 1000. Now if you check the values of dict2, key, value, key, and values. So what I'm trying to teach you is that you can add the values and you can create it from scratch and then keep on adding it. Pretty simple concept. Now let's learn about the nested dictionary. Same concept that we did. Same concept. That is dictionary within a dictionary. Pretty simple. Let's say now I am creating a dict3 as a variable, and I am saying the key is life insurance, life products. Okay, life products, and colon. Now their values. So you see, if I have to, let's say, type two products, um, what can we type? Let's say term insurance or endowment. You can pass both of them as a list, but you can pass them as a dictionary within that as well. So let's say I will type dictionary. Now within that dictionary, I will type, let's say, uh, what do we type? What do we type? What do we type? Let's say, well, let's type universal life insurance. Okay. Now this is a dictionary within a dictionary. So let's talk about the inside dictionary first of all. You are in that dictionary, you pass the key. Now you have to pass the value within that. Okay. So now let's say you will pass the values as 100, and now trigger this. So you see, you created a dictionary. You created a dictionary, that is this one, within a dictionary itself. That is what I'm saying. So let's say now if I type dict3 and check the values of live products, you can see the answer. And again, I'm repeating. Let's say if you type capital L, it gives me an error. Why? Because Python is case sensitive. That is something I covered in my first video. So small l, or you can just copy it from here. So you see, I pass a dictionary, then within that there is another dictionary. So let's say now if I want to find the answer as 100, how can I do that? Now this is again a dictionary. So I have to pass it again in a square brackets, type universal life, and you get the answer as 100. Okay. So I hope that you are able to understand about this nested dictionary as well. Now let's talk about some of the dictionary methods. So let's create a dictionary by the name D1, and the product is term insurance. Okay, and tenure is 40. Pretty simple. Okay, this is my dictionary. D1 product. I can get my answer. Again, so what I will do is product, I will type dot. So we all know when you type dot and if you press tab, which is the button above the caps lock, so you will see these are the function that is available to you within dictionary within dictionary object, right? And these are a lot of different methods that you can use. Let's cover some of them, and you can explore as much as you can by googling it or by trying it by yourself. So I will type, let's say, upper, done. So you see small caps and it has become into a capital letters, everyone. So now one more thing. Let's say I will type D1. And if I type dot, now there are again a lot of functions. So there are three important functions in that. So let's say I know that D1 is my dictionary, right? I want to find only I want to check the list of keys only. Basically, this is product, this is tenure. That is something I want as my answer. So just type D1 dot keys. So these are your two keys, that is product and tenure. I want to see only the values. So you will just type D1 dot values. And now you can see only the values as your answer. That is term insurance and 40. And if you want to see all of them together, so there are obviously you can just type D1 and you get all as your answer, or you will type D1 dot items. So you can see that these are your items. That is product, which has term insurance, and tenure, which has 40, which is your value, right? Key, value, key, value. So it means using the dot keys, you can get all the keys, dot values, get all the values, dot items, you get both of them. Okay, same thing. So that is all about the dictionaries. Now let's move on to the next data type, that is tuples. Let's talk about tuples. So we know that strings are immutable. When I say immutable, it means that you cannot change the values within that. So for example, I create that, okay, my name is uh, Tony. Let's take an example. And I know that at name 0, it is T. I cannot change it to, let's say, R, Roni. You cannot do that. Why? Because strings are immutable, right? Strings are immutable. That is, they cannot be changed. But list and dictionary, these both are mutable, which means you can change them. But now when it comes to tuples, tuples are again immutable. Tuples are immutable, which means that you cannot change once it has been created. Okay, for example, let's take an example. So let's say now I will type, first of all, before proceeding, one more thing. So now, how to create strings, that is using single quotes, or you can use double quotes, or you can use triple quotes, right? How to create list, that is using scare brackets, or you call it capital brackets. How to create dictionaries, using scare, oh, curly brackets. Now how to create tuples, that is using small brackets. Okay, I know it is pretty confusing right now, but believe me, after some of the lectures these things will become very habitual. But do not miss this thing. This is something, because right now we are just building your foundation. Okay, so do focus. So these four things, shift enter. Now let's create a tuple. I will call a variable named as my tuple. So I have to just do it like this and now pass the values. Let's say 1 2 3 a b a. Okay, oh sorry, yeah, I have to pass it as a string, right? Yeah, I have created it. So now if I check my tuple, you can see 1 2 3 a b a. So now if I try to change the value, my tuple, I know at 0th place, 0th index, the value is 1. Same your indexing and slicing that we have covered so far, the same concept will apply over here as well. Okay, so indexing at 0th place is 1. Now if I try to change this value to, let's say, 5, can I do that? No. Tuple object does not support this. You cannot do that. So it is highly efficient to use this tuple data type when you are, creating your assumptions. So for example, you are setting your discount rate and you may be worried that someone in your team might change them, not deliberately but by mistake. Let's say the discount rate was 4% and someone was just trying to make changes in the code and make it to 3.2%. Just an example, okay, just a hypothetical situation. But using tuples, you cannot change once it has been created. So it is highly efficient. And as I said, this is what the meaning of immutable is, that you cannot change the values once it has been decided. once it has been done. Now let's see some of the of methods of tuples. Click over there, press M, shift enter. So my tuple is this 1, 2, 3 ABA. So now in bracket I can type so let's what I'm saying is my tuple dot press tab. So there are two methods, one is count and one is index. Let's talk about index. Brackets, shift tab tab, shift tab tab, press it twice. Why you have to do that? So that you can see what exactly are we trying to find. So this is like a help section, like I know what I have to put as my variable values, but sometimes Python has always, like most of the time Python has provided you with a good help section about what are the parameters that you have to pass within this index method. Shift tab tab, so it is saying that you have to pass a value. Okay, it will return the first index of the value. So let's see. So let's say if I'll type A, so it is giving me 3. So you can see this is at the 0th place, first place, second place, and third place. So it gives me the index, same concept, indexing. You can find, let's say this is A. I don't know at what index is this. So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, A. What else it is saying is that now A is there twice. Now you will be like that, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The index can be 5 as well. Why it is 3? Because by default it will always take the first index. First index is the answer. Okay, that is what it is saying, that if there are duplicates within your tuple, so whenever the first value will come, it will throw you that as your answer. So let's say if I type, just take the copy and pass B. So you can see it is at the 4th place. Third place, this is A. 4th place, this is B. Okay. The second method is count. My tuple dot count. So now within the count, I will pass, let's say A. So it gives me how many times this variable or this value exists in your tuple. So I can see that A has come 2 times. So that is why it is over there. So let's say if I type 2, so you can see the value 2 is there only single one time. So that is what the meaning is. Pretty simple, small 2 methods. One of the property is again, let's say length of my tuple. So you can see it is 6. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is something we have covered in our strings as well, in our list as well, about the length concept. Okay. So now the question is that over here also you are creating the sequences, right? You are creating the sequences. And in case of a list that we covered in last session, let's create one more, 1, 2, 3 more cells. What you can do is just click on this plus plus plus. You can add more. Let's say I will create a list, my list. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's take the same thing, same values, 1, 2, 3, comma A, comma B, comma C. Now the question is, what exactly is the difference between a list and tuple then? I mean, both involve sequences, right? This is known as sequences, one after the another. You have the values. The major difference is the immutability. As I discussed, that tuples are immutable, means you cannot change the values once it has been decided. But in case of a list, lists are mutable, whereas tuples are not. We have seen the example of tuple that you cannot change once it has been decided, but in case of a list, it is mutable. Let me show you. My list at 0th place is 1, as I can see. I can change this value to 5, and that's it. Now if I check my list again, you can see 5 to 3 ABC. But when I try to do the same thing over there, it did not happen. That is what the meaning of immutability is. Immutability means you cannot change it. Mutability means you can. So that is what the major difference between the tuples and list. All right. You can go through this training again if it looks like kind of confusing, but I think it is pretty straightforward. So now we have covered two more data types right now, that is dictionary and tuples. Now I will just take 3-4 minutes, not more than that, and we'll cover the last one, that is sets. Why it will take only 3-4 minutes? Because it is not being used that much, so it has only one major property, that is what we will talk about now. So now, strings created using the single quotes, double quote, triple quotes, lists using the scare brackets, dictionaries dictionaries using the curly brackets, tuples using the small bracket, right? Set is also being created using the curly brackets. Now you may be confused that if I try to create a set, Python will get confused, because in case of dictionary also you have the same way of creating it, and in case of a set also you have a same method. Let's try to figure it out what we are saying. Let's say I'm creating a variable that is age at beginning, okay, and I will pass 20, 20, 22, 23, 24. Now if you observe carefully, in case of dictionary we have to pass key, then their corresponding value, but in case of set we are not doing any such thing, right? So that is why by default it becomes the set data type. You can see that. Now the question is, what is the use of this? So basically it helps us in finding the unique values. That is what the simple sober answer, plain and simple answer. Let's say I am creating a, what do I say, let's say again the same age at end, and I am passing values as 20, 20, 20, 25, 25, 30, 18, 18. So now if I check my age at end, you can see, you will be able to see only and only the unique values. That is what the use of this sets method is. I mean this set object is data type. Now even this set has 2 3 different methods. Let's try to take a look. Set methods. Oh yeah, before that, just one more thing. Let's say now if I want to create from scratch, create set from scratch, SCRATCH. All right, yeah. How to create it? So let's say I'm creating a new set as my variable. Instead of passing it like that, now you see if I press shift enter, now this is a dictionary we have covered over there, right? That how you can create the blank dictionary. Yeah, over there it is a dictionary. So if I type, let's say type new set, it is a dictionary. How can I create the blank set? Pretty simple. New set is equal to type set and these small brackets, small brackets. So that is how you can check new set. The data type is, now it is a set. Now you can add the values. So that is one of the method, new set dot. Now press tab. So there are a lot of methods within this set data type. I am using add. So I will add the value, let's say 4. So now if I check the new set, you can see 4 as my answer. I can add more, let's say 5. Now if I check my new set, 4 and 5 is there. Okay. So this is the method also that we have covered. How to create the blank set, what is exactly is the logic of set. So what other things we have covered in our session about the dictionaries, how to create it, how to add the new values, and then how to create the dictionary from scratch, then nested dictionary, some of the methods such as upper, keys, values, items. It is super useful, keys, values, items, believe me. Then we have covered about the tuples method. The major difference between the list and tuple is that tuples are immutable. That is something we have seen already. Then some of the methods of tuple, that is index and count. So I hope that you all enjoyed this session, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.